All right, it's Groove 99.3, Bakersfield's home for old school and throwbacks. Adlai hanging out with you. And yes, I'm in the Groove studio, and I'm coming at you on our Facebook, our YouTube, our what else are we on? Twitch. But this is something new we're doing. It's called Groove in the Neighborhood. So it's about different organizations in the community. It's also about events coming up, a lot of nonprofit stuff. And this is our first one ever. So you guys know me from giving away tickets. You guys know me from Groove, from being on the air in the afternoons. You guys know me and Danny P doing old school trivia every Friday. But again, this is a little bit different. We're talking about, different organizations, nonprofit organizations that do things for our community here in Bakersfield and Kern County. So you got to check this out. I'm really excited to kick this off. It's Groove in the Neighborhood. What's happening in the 661? And today's guest is Charlie Van de Voorde. I hope I'm saying that right. He's in the green room. I can see him there off screen. But from Flood Ministries, a couple things going on. It's about helping the homeless. He's going to explain more about that. But they also got a really cool event coming up. The clay shooting competition coming up June 11th, too. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring him on. Charlie, welcome to the show, the first ever Groove in the Neighborhood. How you doing?
Great. Good morning. Thank you, Adlai.
Yeah, no worries. As you can see, I got three different names, so I'll answer to any of them too. So Adlai, Odele, and Delay. So either one.
But I don't know about Odele. Odele.
Hey man, I'm old school to the core. You know that, man. I love my old school, and I love the fact what you're doing over there at Flood Ministries. I mean, your tagline: reducing homelessness, transforming lives. And you guys watching, we know homelessness. It's an issue, and we see it a lot, and it's just from when I see it, you feel bad, but what can we do? So, Charlie, elaborate for us with the Flood Ministries and what you guys are doing to help reduce homelessness and transform those lives.
Yeah, so thank you for having us on. A little bit about Flood Ministries and our mission. Flood Ministries exists to help those in the community that are struggling in homelessness and flood them with the love of God. By reaching out at when the individuals are the most vulnerable in their encampments, on the street corners, on the river, wherever they may be, in their cars, abandoned houses. And that's when they're most vulnerable. That's when they're in mental illnesses, giving up on the world. They feel like the world has given up on them, And so we engage them there. And then we continue. Then we start by linking them to appropriate resources such as mental health, substance abuse, vital documentation like ID, social security cards. Being homeless, you lose a lot of things. You get a lot of things stolen. Our goal is to get them off the street and into permanent, stable housing, affordable housing. So to do that, you have to have the documentation, right? And so we start linking them to the resources such as that: food, clothing, transportation, whatever they need. That's what we do for them. Then once we're in that process, we start navigating them into housing and supportive housing. The process of being homeless. You have barriers, right? You have barriers. People. You don't have credit, you have bad credit, and so once we get them that Section 8 voucher, or our housing program, then we start having to go to the landlords, and we have to start advocating for them and let them know what we're doing and why we're doing it, and that everybody needs another chance. Everybody does, and there's so much stigma about homelessness and how people perceive it, that people can't change. People, their landlords are afraid of the houses being torn down or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of things that go on with the barrier, So then once we get them there, then it's about providing case management for them after they're housed. Community health and wellness, and just to continue to provide those life skills of having a better quality of life. I think Delay, I think a lot of other people in this community know that I was once homeless and I'm in recovery. But coming out of all that, one of the things that was hard for me was having to pay my bills, and I just spoke about that today. I was like, man, I don't even like to pay my bills. I mean, it's not that I want to pay my bills, but I having to get on the phone or do an app or wait with people. I get a lot of anxiety doing that. So luckily I have a girlfriend that takes care of that for me. But so find yourself a girlfriend that takes care of that.
Yeah.
So
well, that's very cool too, because Charlie, I remember seeing you in your fancy car going to Starbucks now. So you've come a long way, which is I mean, it's a success story, and it shows that you can move forward, you can be successful, and you're right when you talk about that stigmatism about homeless people. I mean, DJ Doc, he's watching, and he knows that we're at the Snoop Dogg concert on Saturday, and I was just walking, and a homeless guy, just obviously, kind of, talking to himself, whatever. And I'm like, let me just walk by, just, get past him, leave him alone. And he threw like a rock at me after. And I'm like, oh, geez. But you think, you're like, look, there's issues there. You know what I'm saying? There's things that need to be dealt with. And I feel like it's safe to say, Charlie, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like people that are homeless, none of them want to be there, or 99.9% want to get out of that situation. I mean, is that safe to say, or?
That's safe to say. Yeah. I get, let's say, actually, kind of, Tony Lee asked me, he said one time, he said, I get asked a lot of times, I've been getting asked a lot in this community, Charlie, about the homeless and why we have so much homelessness and why they're like that. And I was like, well, that's the first problem right there, Tony, is that people are asking why, but they're assuming that they're looking from their perspective of how they would be, right? I wouldn't be like that. I wouldn't be homeless. I wouldn't do this. If that was me, I would have been over here. Or I would be over here getting these services. But nobody ever stops to think what kind of trauma that person was in to put them there, right? I had, and so let's just start, like, it's childhood trauma. People, back when I was younger, I had childhood trauma. I had a broken family, my mom doing drugs, and my dad an alcoholic, and moving from motel to motel. Didn't have that stability. And so that trauma followed me into to my teen years of depression and not being socially adaptable, and then having a kid, and then that depression, it sinks in. And back then, I'm older now, having depression, mental illnesses, and substances, you didn't talk about those because you were considered weak, and then the stigma of society back then was really, really bad. So it's getting a little bit better now. But yeah, I mean, you got that's just one thing. Just think about childhood trauma. Let's think about a woman that's on the street. Let's say she's leaving a home from an abusive husband, and she's running from that abusive husband and to get away, and she don't have no family, right? And so she's running to get away from that abuse, and she ends up doing what she does to try to survive, right? Nobody thinks about that one. Let's talk about the youth that was in foster care from a broken home. And I'm not saying the foster care this isn't bad, but sometimes people get placed in other households that isn't always good, so they end up going from one broken home to a worse broken home. So now they're running from that, trying to survive, and that builds that mistrust. Like, we're supposed to be a support to our youth and to our community, and when their services when not all the services are when they're bad apples, right? When they're bad apples, it kind of throws the stigma on the services to people that are going through that situation. So then they have a hard time trusting the help. And
I know there's been like they try to do a census, right, on how many homeless people there are. That if you were to have a number or throw out a number in Bakersfield and Kern County, what would be the number? I mean, how many homeless are there?
So the last big count, there was 1,603 people in Kern County that were experiencing homelessness. 875 of them were sheltered homeless, and 728 were unsheltered. But let's go. That's for 2022. But in 2020, the number for shelter homeless was 576. So that's a 30% rise that we've gotten people off the street and into shelters. And once you get them into shelters, it's so much easier to get them the services they need, to build that trust with them, and then get them into the housing that they need to go into. So this shows the impact that Flood is doing with other partnering organizations in the community to alleviate, to reduce homelessness and transform lives. Going back to that, there's 1,004 unsheltered homelessness unsheltered homeless in 2020, and now there's only 725. So that's a 27% decline. So the impact is there is an impact being made with the services that we're doing in this community.
That's great to see too, because everybody watching this right now, I would say on average, gosh, you see homeless people every day. There's no question, no matter where you're at, coming out of the neighborhood. I mean, I'm over in Campus Park, and just by the train tracks, and it's just it's sad to see, but it's nice to know there's some people like you trying to or doing stuff, making progress, trying to help with the homeless situation. That, dude, it's not. I mean, just as a regular guy, it's tough. You know what I mean? You don't know what to do. Let me ask you this then, Charlie. So if you see a homeless person or whatever, I mean, what's the best way? Because we do see him pulling out of the Walmart parking lot, with the sign, give me, I need help. And just from a personal experience, I was we had our DACC's concert. You can see the poster back there.
Yeah.
And there was a guy, he's all, hey, let me pick up the aluminum cans so I can recycle them and get some money for food. And I'm like, absolutely, help out. And then, the next day, my son and I went there, to check it out. And he's like, man, this other homeless guy stole my cans, so I don't have any money. So my son, he's 10 years old. He's like, well, here's $5. It was the sweetest thing I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
He's like, here's $5. So the next day, apparently, I see an empty bottle that says $4.99 of some booze.
Right.
And the place kind of got trashed, and I'm just thinking, like, man, it's just so there's is there a better way to help people, or an appropriate way to help people when you see them and they're asking for something, whether it's money or whatever? I mean, what's the approach there? What do you think?
So I believe that the best approach is not to give them the money. Right. There is services for them to get if they're hungry. There's services with Flood and other organizations, but giving that money, I think we know a lot what goes on to it, and with that, by not giving them money, it also challenges them to start accepting the services that are available to them, so that way we can begin to work with them more. Right.
Yeah.
And when we're enabling somebody, they like, okay, well, I'm getting enabled, so I don't have to I don't have to receive these services. It's not that we're not making money off these services. We're just trying to change people's lives, right? I mean, we're trying to reduce how they're feeling, and sometimes when you're homeless, you become accustomed to that. After you've done it for so many years, you become conditioned to that type of living, and so. That's your comfortability. So then wanting to change or having to change is it's like, oh, and then you've already built up the barriers of distrust and all that. So we're trying to get them to trust us when they don't even know us, right? So by not giving them money, it allows us to continue to work with them and build that trust to get them get them a better quality of life. And so if you see somebody. If you know somebody experiencing, or if somebody's homeless, are experiencing homeless instability, they can call 211, and 211 is a county resource line, and they will get a hold of us, Flood Ministries, and we'll go out there and meet up with them. If you need somebody that needs help, Flood Ministries has our referral line. It's 661-578-5354. And so you see somebody on the street corner, or your friend with your son the other day, you can give us a call, and we'll respond.
See, that's cool too, because I know Groove. I mean, the Groove audience and Bakersfield, Kern County, we're giving, we care. So you see, and I know some of these guys will pull in, $50, $100, in a couple hours, and you're hoping they do something, constructive with that money, but. So that's cool. And then 211 is a number they can call. Okay, or we can call if we see somebody, dealing with that. Okay, that's great information.
Yeah, somebody is currently experiencing homelessness. You can call have them call 211. But if you see somebody, you feel like somebody needs help, and you've talked with them, you can call our referral line 661-578-5354, and that's Flood Ministries, and we'll be out there. Look after them.
Okay, and we'll type that number in the comments too. So you guys watching, you need that number. We'll have it in the comments a little bit later here. And then the other thing is too, you think, I'm going to call 911. I'm going to call the cops. but that could turn into a whole thing.
That could turn into a whole thing, and more than likely, they're going to call flood.
And then you're gonna end up
we
calling
work with the county, work with the city, with when it comes to the homeless. We work with the rapid response teams, the code enforcement teams. But most times they're going to call us, you know. But if somebody's in threatening in danger of their lives or somebody else's lives or property, yeah, do call 911. I mean,
okay, if it gets to that point, but let's go 211 first.
Yes,
to see if we can manage it that way too. So, hey, before we get into your event.
Hold on one second. Can I say something real quick?
Sure, absolutely.
So you talk about you're not giving money, you know, and I talked about hearing somebody's story, right? How about not giving money? Go buy them lunch, buy yourself lunch, or invite them to go to lunch with you and sit with them. And it might be rough at first because they don't know you, but try to hear their story and hear where they are. You know, that is somebody's son, that is somebody's dad, that is somebody's mom, sister, grandma, whatever it may be. That is a person. So that's the advice I have to give.
Absolutely. You know, it's interesting too about the guy I collected Kansas Chandler Park. We did talk to him for a few minutes, and he was a professional baseball player at one point for, I can't remember what team, Cincinnati Reds or something. Because we even looked, my son and I looked him up later, and like, that's legit. So you're right. That's somebody's baby, you know.
Yeah, somebody's somebody's praying for that person, whether it be me, you, or somebody's praying for that person, and you might be the ear. And the voice, or the friend they need to help whatever situation or whatever emotion they're feeling at that point. You know, you might be that deciding factor in helping somebody turn their life around. You know, like I think I told you, well, when I got arrested, the last time I got arrested, the sheriff deputy said, he said, you know, I think the problem is, Charlie. And I said, what's that? I said, I think your life is unorganized. And I started laughing, but I wasn't laughing at him. I was like, it's like a light bulb went off in my head. I was like, I think my life is unorganized. Right. And so it's just like everything, I don't know what it was about that one time, but it could be that one thing that, you know, you never know. You could be the bright light in some darkness.
Charlie, before that, how many times have you gotten advice from people of what you need to do?
A lot, right? Right. I didn't say give them advice. Just hear the story and listen.
Or hear the story. But because I'm thinking like people give me advice, but I don't take it on the first 100 times they tell me.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes more than once to let people know, like, hey, there's help here for you. So
don't give them advice. Just be that friend. You know, you don't have to give advice to be a friend. You don't have to give advice to be an ear to listen. I sometimes say, you know, the biggest voice in the room is just an ear to hear. You know, you don't have to say a word. You don't have to say words. All you got to do is hear.
Listen
and give some that and give some your time.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, we appreciate what you're doing. Real quick before we get into the event, if someone, what's that phone number, and is there a website that people can check out?
So people can go to floodbakel.com, and so you can go there, and we have a live chat thing that we keep track of every single day. We have a person. Her name is Crystal. That's what she's responsible for, and she's also responsible for our referral line, which is 661-578-5354. So give us a call.
Excellent. So you guys just tuning in. Flood Ministries. It's an organization about helping reduce homelessness and transforming lives too. So we're all affected by homelessness. We see it all the time. Sadly, you know, we're too busy, you know, or whatever excuse we got. Flood Ministries is there to help those people in those situations too. So I think that the easiest one to remember is 211. That's the easiest number. Call that number, and then they'll connect you directly to Flood Ministries, or
they'll connect. We'll connect us with them with Cap K. It's Cap K.
Okay.
Action partnership.
Super easy. So now, thank you for that. Moving on to your fundraiser coming up.
Yes.
Pulling for the homeless. Tell us about that.
So this would be Flood's first big event, I think, in over 3 years. Prior to this fundraiser, we used to do Christmas tree lots, and so and then during the pandemic, our executive director was like, "Oh, when can I do that?" So luckily, I raised my hand and said, "Hey, why don't we do a clay shoot? That sounds like fun, right?" And so he's like, "Yeah, why don't we do that? Go ahead and take a lead on that, Charlie." So yes,
that's why I don't bring my ideas in meetings anymore.
Yes, for real.
It's more work for me.
Yeah, for real. And I didn't realize how much work goes into these, right?
Yeah.
But it's going to be fun. You know, everybody's invited to participate in the inaugural Flood Ministries play shoot, pulling for the homeless, right? At Five Dogs, Saturday, June 11th. It's from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Five Dogs Range at 20238 Woody Road in Bakersfield. If you would like to be a participant or be on a team, you can go to floodbaco.com and you can register on our website, or you can call me at my direct office line, 661-516-2011. We are going to have, at this point, we have 20 raffle baskets to raffle off. We are going to have a custom-made AR-15 from Dirty Bergs. And so we are getting ready to sell those tickets. It's a limit of 100 tickets, $20 a ticket. So you got very good odds, you know. We are going to have plaques, trophies, and a trophy for the worst shooter. We're going to have a trophy for that. You know, everybody needs to be recognized, right?
So don't miss on purpose, though. You want that award, but you don't want that award, right?
You want that award, right? Hey, we have a variety of participants coming out. Norma Gaspar from Telemundo and Jose Gaspar, Kevin Charette for KGET. From what I heard, maybe some Group 99.3 staff members may be coming out and joining in the competition. So we're going to have a variety of people. Supervisor David Couch, Senator Grove's office is coming out. Okay. So we're going to have a lot of people, a lot of mingling, and it's about having fun. And 100% of the proceeds will benefit Flood Ministries to help people experiencing homelessness. You know, what this fundraiser is going to do is, let me give an example, because people are like, oh, well, I've heard, you get money from grants. Well, we do get money from grants, but those grants only fund so many things, right? You have to abide by those grants, and you have to get that data for those grants. So let's just say you have a family in the rural communities of Mojave, and so we have a family there that's experiencing homelessness, but there's no shelters out in Mojave. There's nothing out there for them to stay at, right? So they got to come all the way out here. And so that at that point, they've exhausted their CalWorks homeless assistance program to help them get into a hotel and then get them into housing. They've exhausted that. That's only lasts for 14 days. They've exhausted that. So then we're going to displace a child out of the only stability he probably has at that point, which would be his schooling and with his teachers. And we're going to make them move out here. So what this funding will do is help us. What this fundraiser is going to help us do is also provide hotel rooms until we can get that family into a home and not displace that child from their school.
Okay, yeah, because there's obviously a need. There's
definitely a need.
A fun way to help
rural communities. Yeah, just to be fun memories, and that's what it's about. You know, it's just get together as a community and let's go pull for the homeless and shoot some clay pigeons, right?
Yeah, it's fun, and you're helping raise money for this because, again, homelessness, a serious issue. You know, we see it everywhere. It's all over the country, but we definitely see it here in Bakersfield and Kern County. So, well, Charlie, thank you so much for coming on the show, our first ever Groove in the Neighborhood, and look forward to talking to you again. And we'll help get the word out for this clay shooting competition, pulling for the homeless. Again, it's June 11th. It starts at 8 a.m. For more info, floodbaco.com. Flood, Flood, Baco, Bako. Floodbaco.com. And the phone number, 516-2011.
Yes, to sign up for the clay shoot. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So,
and if anybody, and the phone number's open for people looking to help. I can refer you to whoever you need, who we need to get you in touch with.
Excellent. And because we're on Groove, we got to do shout outs real quick. You got 1 minute?
I got 1 minute. All right.
Richard Castaneda, what's up, brother? He's checking in. Thank you so much,
Richard.
DJ Prospect. I think he might be the one that started calling me Adlai, by the way. So what up, DJ Prospect?
What's going on, DJ Prospect? I see DJ Doc. I see me and him are Facebook friends.
Okay. Good morning, DJ Doc. Jaime Gonzalez, got to drop the Go Raiders.
Yeah, he knows. Go Raiders all the way. Raiders in the house to the fullest.
Nice. Ernesto saying good morning. Good morning, Ernesto. Hey, let's see.
Good morning.
Zachary. He's one of our old school trivia fans too. So Zach, we'll see you tomorrow at 9 too. Good morning to you, man. Bobby Rojas Martinez. Good morning. Eat it, Happy Jacks.
Yes.
Happy Jacks. What up, Bobby?
Is he buying? Is he buying?
So true, Bobby. You gonna buy lunch?
You're buying. I'll be there.
They do have some bomb burgers there, though. That's for sure, man. And pie. They got some really good pie. Ooh, and the chili's good too. That's right. Yeah, I mean there. So, thanks everybody for checking us out. Groove in the neighborhood. What's happening in the 661? And thank you to Charlie from Flood Ministries. Again, more info on that organization, floodbaco.com, or call them up 516-2011. Thank you, Charlie. Have a great one, man, and we'll see you next time.
All right, hey, Adlai, let me give a shout out to somebody real quick.
Sure.
I just want to give a shout out to our Flood Ministries team. We do. I'm very proud of all you guys, and you guys do an amazing job in this community. And thank you for being part of this journey in our lives. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you to Flood Ministries. Thank you.